everyone, I'm Ruby from Prodata Weather Systems.
And I'm Peter, Sales and Marketing Director.
Peter, tell us a little bit about some of the key background elements of Prodata Weather Systems.
Yeah, so Prodata Weather Systems was established in 1998 and is primarily a Davis Instruments dealer. Davis Instruments are based in California in the US, and they have been making weather stations, primarily AWS, which actually stands for Automated Weather Stations. So they're weather stations that upload the data automatically to a console or to a cloud platform, rather than the old-fashioned ones where you have to go out and manually take the readings. Very well established in the market. Probably what we'd call a medium level brand, where there are much more expensive brands. So we are an authorised repair centre, an authorised dealer, agricultural specialist, installer, basically you name it, we've kind of got all the Davis ticks.
Now tell us a little bit about the Davis products that we've got in front of us. What is the purpose of this piece of kit?
Basically, Davis have two main weather stations. I mean, they have a massive product catalogue, and looking on our website or on our online shop will show that. But there's two main fully fledged weather stations. Over this side we have the Davis Vantage View. So this is an all-in-one weather station. So that means that all of the sensors are mounted on the one piece of kit, and they report back to a console or another cloud-enabled device. So this would standardly sit outside, maybe in your garden or on a roof. Ideally, you want to be in an exposed situation. Depending on, not every situation is perfect for mounting, so quite often you will have to sort of take a combination of different factors into it and actually get the best fit. There's not always an ideal location. I mean, for example, we install a lot into agriculture, and even then, when you've got a farm that maybe is 2,000 acres, trying to find a location which is completely open, exposed, is not always that easy. So in a garden, obviously, if you're mounting it on a roof, then your wind speed's going to be that much higher, and you have to be careful that you're not getting sheltering from the sensors and that sort of thing. So there's certain things that you need to be aware of. But standardly, they will then talk back to the receiving device, for want of a better phrase, up to 300 metres line of sight. And you've got 8 channels on each device. So although this would count, the weather station would count as one, they're all expandable to add other sensors on, which we'll talk about in a later video, I think.
Great.
So that was the Vantage View, and this is probably aimed more at the home market, shall we say, the consumer market, because it's an all-in-one unit, a better price point. Certain things about it that are better than others, and we'll cover those. But the other option that we've got here is the Vantage Pro 2. So this is more of a, we'd call it pro-consumer, so a prosumer, for example, level system. So again, on this, the sensors are more parted, as it were, for want of a better phrase. They're separated, so actually you can mount your anemometer that much higher because you've got a 12-metre cable on there. You've got the weather station that you can mount then more closer to ground level, where you obviously want to be reading your rainfall data. More expandable, more supported, etc. But that's then more, if you want to go up to that next level. And from a durability point of view, we've got people that have been using these in the field for 15 to 20 years. So should one of the parts fail, you can easily just swap them out. And with saying that, everything that we sell comes with 3 years warranty anyway.
So Peter, typically, what is your typical consumer type that you...
So when we talk about the consumer market, obviously what we were looking at the Vantage View would be your home consumer. Obviously quite a few of those people will also go for the Vantage Pro 2 because, and we'll go through all the sensors in a minute, but it's more upgradable, so you can add things like UV sensors, solar radiation sensors, all that sort of stuff to it. So that would be your sort of home retail market, for instance. But then when we look at business sales, we have a completely diverse range, and that's what's one of the things that really makes the business interesting. So we have systems that might be on the top of high-rise buildings, whether that be commercial or just a set of flats or something like that, high end, and they can link into that building control system. Takes the weather station data, and then, for example, it detects if it's raining, so some of these buildings will have automatic window closures on, and it will go, right, we've got rain, we'll close the windows. Wind speed alarms, so for example, if you're on a high building and some of those buildings can have windows open, it will send alarms down to the concierge, and they will then let all the tenants know that there's high wind speed and they should close their windows. Even it comes into temperature and humidity. So temperature readings, if they drop past a certain level, then it will kick the building's heating in. And that's on that sphere. We sell, as we just were saying earlier, that we sell a lot into agriculture, farming. That's where you're looking at environmental impact and using the data to basically feed into the business. So we've always looked at every small bit of savings that you can make on a farm helps. So we can be using the data for measuring rainfall or evapotranspiration. So how much moisture we're losing out of the soil. Again, that then impacts on the decision when it comes to irrigation. Do we need to irrigate the crop or do we not need to irrigate the crop? So you're starting to use the data from the weather station to start predicting disease patterns. So you can actually start to apply applications at the right time. For example, in agriculture, we'll use things like leaf wetness sensors. So the leaf wetness sensor mimics virtual wetness on a leaf. So it's actually recording that data. So for example, if you were looking to do a product application, for example, a chemical, you'd be able to tell, actually, we've got very high leaf wetness. If I apply that chemical now, we're not going to get efficiency from that chemical. So it's actually going to be, you're not getting the protection on the crop and you're wasting it. So it's a big saving there. So one saving on that, you're actually saving thousands and thousands of pounds worth. And where we can deploy these systems in agriculture remotely, if you, for example, are a farmer that might be having a remote block of land 20, 30 miles away, you can have a remote weather station uploading to the cloud. So before you head over there to do an application or spraying or any work, you can actually see what the conditions are like. Even when it comes to harvest, we all know that weather is now even more localised than it ever used to be. So 5 miles away, you've got bright blue sunshine. Where you are now, you've got pouring rain. Well, we head over to the area where you've got your weather station, it tells you that the conditions are good. We do a lot now in construction sites, where we need to be monitoring wind, and I think you actually come on one of the installs for that. They were removing cladding or something like that from a hospital. So again, they had wind thresholds, so they're using the weather station that was updating, I think at that point, every 5 minutes to make the decision on whether it was actually too windy to work. So we've got a lot now in the amenity market, which is like the turf sector, so golf courses, sports pitches, and we all know that everybody likes to play on a lovely green golf course. Well, there's an awful lot of prep that goes into making a golf course. And so much of that data is environmentally driven.
Why is it important to monitor the weather in different environments?
Yeah, I mean, as we kind of covered just recently, you know, it could be a health and safety event. It could be as simple as somebody that has really got an interest in the weather. You know, what's one of the favourite British subjects? I mean, we all go out there, and how many times in a day does somebody mention the weather to us? A data-driven decision making. Anything that you can use environmentally where weather's needed, and we collect the data and use it.
Great. Now that you've given us a little bit of background, I would love to unbox some of these products and delve into all the ins and outs of the two different products that you got here, and hopefully you can show me how to build them as well.
Absolutely.
Great.
Let's crack on.
Let's do it.
Cheers.